Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now I'd like to apologise to those of you who were probably halfway through yesterday's upload and then wondered why the video stopped playing. That was because I deleted it. It was corrupted or something halfway through, like the video stopped playing and the audio carried on, so don't really know what's happened there, but it's gone. I'd also like to apologise to those of you who liked my hair long. It's way too hot for that. I've had to chop it off. I haven't got a perm. This is naturally curly, for those of you wondering, but you probably don't care because this is a tech channel after all, so let's talk about tech and gaming. So, GTA 4 and Saints Row 2, two of the most notorious PC ports known to man on PC. Both of these do have their issues, frequent stutters, performance drops, things like that. Now both of these games are fixable with tweaks, patches, user mods, things like that. But that's effort, mate, isn't it? You just want to jump straight in and play games without any hiccups or interruptions. Now for GTA 4 we can run it with Vulkan or DXVK and it's going to improve things quite significantly. That's why it runs so well on the Steam Deck. Saints Row 2 can also be fixed with a few patches. This isn't something we've explored as much, but in today's one I wanted to just install SteamOS on my PC like we did a few days ago and try these two notorious ports to see if they run any smoother than they do under Windows 11. It's going to be difficult to gauge the exact performance because both of these don't really have inbuilt benchmark tools. GTA 4 does, but it's quite useless. It tells me like 67 frames per second with any hardware that I use, so it's not really helpful, but we'll be able to easily tell, I think, whether or not performance is better or worse. Now, as I mentioned, the Steam Deck, both of these games do run a little better with that, so I'm hoping that with SteamOS on PC that is the case as well. Now, the other day we installed SteamOS on my desktop PC and the response was really good, so I want to explore SteamOS a little more in a few more upcoming videos. I mean, Linus Tech Tips was talking about it. I think Toasty Bros mentioned me in a video a couple of days ago as well. The response has been fantastic and all of your comments have been great too. So hopefully we can explore SteamOS a little more, as well as Linux in general. Bazite I want to check out too. I've been so busy the past couple of weeks, but hopefully we can get around to it soon. But as for this one, let's talk about GTA 4, Saints Row 2. We'll play a bit on Windows first of all. Well, if this green screen has worked correctly, you've been seeing a little bit of footage behind me, but yeah, let's begin. So I'm using the AMD Radeon RX 6500 XT 4GB, and with most games of this age you shouldn't experience any problems. Of course GTA 4 is not most games, and so while we're seeing 60 frames per second or above a lot of the time, there are a few instances whereby we will drop below this, not to mention the frame times and consistency too, which is all over the place. So performance may be good 1 minute and then all of a sudden it will drop, and it is really noticeable with this card. Unfortunately, it does do a lot better than Saints Row 2, however, another notorious PC port, because that one, well, it doesn't even run on the 6500 XT with the latest drivers. It starts, you can get into the game will load, but after a couple of seconds it will either just give us a black screen or it will crash completely. I even tried it at the lowest settings, but no luck. It was now time then to move on to SteamOS. I've got my trusty USB stick at the ready. We've got the Steam recovery image on said stick, and it's time to see how the same games perform on SteamOS instead of Windows 11. So we covered the installation in my previous video, but it's just a matter of plugging the USB stick into the PC, wiping whatever's on it at the moment, so you may want to use a newly formatted USB drive so that you don't lose everything, and then following the instructions to install SteamOS on your desktop. You need an AMD card to do this, by the way. It's then a matter of installing the games that you want to play. I did this in desktop OS mode because for some reason the download wouldn't start in standard display mode, so I switched to desktop mode and all was fine. We're actually going to start with Saints Row 2 this time, the game that wouldn't run on the 6500 XT under Windows, so it's automatically better. I was experiencing a few problems controller-wise. I wasn't touching the controller, but the camera was panning round for some weird reason. But it turns out that all I had to do was unplug the controller and plug it back in. That has happened to me before with SteamOS. It literally just involves unplugging it, plugging it back in to the same USB port if you like, and all is well. At least that was the case here. Now, as you can see, Saints Row 2 is running very smoothly indeed. We have the frame time graph at the top left corner, and there's barely a bump in it. Now, this is with the highest settings at 1080p, of course, with the 6500 XT, which is best suited to this resolution. Even with older games, your best bet is probably 1080p or 1440p at a push. Really old games can probably be played at 4K, of course, but with this one I didn't really know what to expect. And with Saints Row 2, even under SteamOS here, you're going to max out at around 83, 84 frames per second. I'm not sure if that's just an engine limitation with this one, but we didn't really see any frame rates that were higher than this. In terms of consistency, yeah, it was a pretty smooth experience. There were a few dips and drops towards the low 60s, but all in all, it was an absolute pleasure to play with the 6500 XT running SteamOS. No major problems whatsoever. I played it for a good hour or so, and I forgot how much I enjoy playing this one. The physics, the gameplay itself, just causing absolute carnage. I have actually paired the 6500 XT with an i9 14900K. This was the test CPU in my system. Now, there's some guy stuck in the truck. I just wiped him out, and I thought I pulled him out of the vehicle, but he's still in here. I can't actually get him out. He's just rattling around inside the cabin. Lifeless body just flailing around inside the cabin there. I'm just crashing into absolutely everything, getting distracted from the actual test here. But yeah, Saints Row 2 under SteamOS runs really well, and I'll never get tired of these ragdoll physics. Now, I don't have any exact performance metrics for you today, as I mentioned at the start. We can't use software like MSI Afterburner with SteamOS here to measure the exact average and percentile lows. If any of you have any software recommendations, then I will try it out. That said, it is easy to tell that the game is running a lot better under SteamOS from the real-time frame rate. There are moments whereby the frame rate is shooting above 100 frames per second in GTA 4 here, and it's easy to see that there aren't as many significant dips and drops like this area. Earlier on I was playing and we were getting dips to the mid 50s, high 40s, some really noticeable changes with the performance metrics. I love the ragdoll physics in this one as well. You just go flying into NPCs and they go all over the place. I'm a big fan of GTA 4 and I really like the driving too. It is weird going back from, say, GTA 5 to GTA 4 and then trying to drive like you would in GTA 5. You have to be a bit more careful, which I really like. I really love the driving in this game. Cars feel heavier, there's more weight and different weights to all the vehicles really. But yeah, again, I'm getting distracted. Performance-wise, it runs really nicely. Barely any dips and drops below 60 FPS. We do sort of encroach on 60 itself, but as for the frame time graph, it's really smooth and it's a consistent gameplay experience, just like it was on the Steam Deck when I tested that a while ago. Now, as I said before, we can get both of these games running smoother under Windows. We can install DXVK for GTA 4. I think we can do the same for Saints Row 2, or we can install different patches to improve things and probably uncap that max frame rate as well. But for simplicity's sake, I wanted to just see how it ran as is under Windows and then as is with SteamOS. Let's see if we can drive through. No, I thought we was going to be able to drive through the other end of the water there, but probably overestimating the power of my car. I'm certainly glad someone decided to put some steps here, otherwise that would have been a long walk. Performance wise though, really can't complain at all. The 6500 XT is of course a pretty weak card anyway, but it's nice to see it handling this one rather well at the highest in-game settings. It's certainly an improvement over Windows 11. Before we were getting around sort of 60 to 70 FPS with some huge dips and drops, sometimes to the low 40s, but here it seems to be staying at above 60 FPS most, if not all of the time. Sometimes it shoots up to well over 100 frames per second in those quieter areas. That car just totally ruined my stunt jump as well. But there we are, two of the most notorious PC ports running on SteamOS. Saints Row 2 didn't even want to work under Windows 11 with the latest AMD drivers, and GTA 4 is much improved in terms of consistency as well, and both of these games had no issues running. When I first started up GTA 4 actually, it said downloading content for a while. I think it got stuck, so I just sort of cancelled that and then started the game again. and it downloaded the content just fine, so nothing too much to worry about. As I've said a few times now, these can be improved with patches or DXVK under Windows anyway, but with minimal effort you can install SteamOS and get a much smoother experience on your PC, providing you have a compatible graphics card. In this case it's going to be AMD. But there we are. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the slightly different approach to editing in this one. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, let me know what you think down below, of course. And hopefully I'll be back with a very cheap budget PC very soon. So thanks as always, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.